Hey guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are
Those Annoying Vegans!
And we are back at the table with yet another mukbang.
That's right. 2 in a row for you kids.
Look!
Hey!
We've got a super bowl of oatmeal.
That's right. Not too dissimilar from our literal super oatmeal recipe that you can find on our channel. This one is topped with blueberries, apple, pecans, banana, coconut chips, and a big old glob of creamy peanut butter that is just peanuts with less than 1% sodium. It's the 365 brand at Whole Foods.
And in the oats, there is a premix of flaxseed, cinnamon, brown sugar, and chia seeds. Very cozy recipe to have on a rainy day like today.
All the Whole Foods. Let's give it a go. Oh my goodness.
Someone's walking on the ceiling.
Is it Santa Claus? He's late.
Or maybe he's really early.
He's early. He's bringing you something on January, what's today? Mid-January? I don't even know what the day is.
Days just go. They just flow forward.
Oats, much like potatoes, I don't really tire of.
There's always a
oatmeal
different
every morning.
There's always a different way to vary it up.
You know, some days you're like, I really want some berries on there. And then other days I'm like, man, apple and peanut butter together is like primo.
Or mango. Mango and oatmeal.
Peach. When peaches are in season. Peach and oats.
Sometimes Gracie hair.
You get a Gracie hair when you're oats sometimes. That's okay.
So today we wanted to talk about the most recent video from Bonny Rebecca titled, Why I Am No Longer Vegan.
Yep.
I'm not vegan anymore, as you can probably tell by the title of this video.
Add it to the playlist on YouTube of very successful, big, influential YouTubers claiming that they are no longer vegan.
So before we start, like Bonnie said at the beginning of her video, we encourage you to watch this video in full before you comment. Because this tends to happen every time we upload a video. 3 minutes later, the comments start pouring in.
Yeah.
And
it'll be like a 20-some minute video.
There is no way that you could have watched a 20-plus video in 3 minutes.
Yeah, unless you have Doctor Strange's time stone. But to get that, you got to pry it out of the gauntlet, which Thanos has. So, I mean, there's a whole host of problems there.
You made that happen. Please tell Marvel, because
yes,
they'll want you in the movie.
Yeah, somehow reassemble the Eye of Agamotto. We watch Marvel movies, in case you can't tell. We also want to encourage you to watch Bonnie's video all the way through. We're going to have the link for that in the description below. We're not going to touch on every single point she makes because it is a 38-minute long video.
However, when you do watch her video, start it at the end, right here, and then go all the way back to the beginning.
I just want to make it very clear that I do not blame veganism for any of my problems. I do not regret going vegan. Veganism still was the best decision I made.
This crucial point should have been at the beginning of her video. People don't watch the full video sometimes. Unfortunately, I feel like a majority of the people probably didn't get that far. Bonny Rebecca has always been a source of inspiration and fun for us. She is personally my favorite YouTuber to watch. Matching necklaces and everything. And she's just a very compassionate, kind person. So watching this video was very difficult.
She's like this light on YouTube, which can be kind of filled with drama and conflict and controversy and all that stuff. And Bonnie's videos are always fun, whether she's making a recipe or just getting a haircut or like going on a trip with her friends. Her food always looks beautiful. And you and I watch a ton of her videos. Like, we watch all of them.
Yeah.
Like, every time she put a new one out, we're like, oh, let's watch it.
Yeah. But as YouTubers ourselves, we are very well aware that what we see on the screen is a fragment of one's life. She's made that perfectly clear as well.
Now, she does spend a good portion of the video talking about her boyfriend Tim, and we're not going to talk about Tim in this video because it's her channel. She's the face of the channel, so we're just going to keep it to Bonnie for this video.
So right up front, we are not doctors. We are not medical experts. We have no medical training. I think you guys know that, but sometimes it's important to remind people because we'll get a lot of comments like, keep your opinions to yourself, or don't,
Why should we trust what you two have to say? You two are just hipster LA YouTube vegans.
This is commentary using our most recent body of knowledge regarding health and nutrition and our best conjectures.
So the long and short of her video is that she spent several years trying to diagnose various health concerns, and after numerous medical and dietary consultations with various doctors and naturopaths, her health problems were ultimately linked to a possible bacterial overgrowth. She did mention SIBO, which stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And she also mentioned that at one point she had a parasite. And so to correct these issues, she has begun eating fish and eggs again.
To be fair, Bonny did say,
veganism did not cause my problems. I'll never put the blame on veganism for that. I had underlying gut issues.
These were underlying issues before she went vegan. Now again, we wish she would have front-loaded her video with this. And we don't think she was being deceptive.
No.
It's a very crucial piece of information to start with.
Especially when you've got all these YouTubers explaining why they're no longer vegan. Someone could look at her health issues and say, oh my gosh, a vegan diet did that to Bonny, but it wasn't the diet. She had this beforehand.
And bear in mind that meat eaters can also have SIBO. So veganism isn't the common denominator. If you take a look at this article, we know that there are not yet 30 million vegans in North America.
So if the vegan diet was not to blame, yet reincorporating animal products into her diet is the solution, we kind of had the same thought.
No, we even said it verbatim, like right before she said it.
There's nothing in animal products that you can't get from plants. It doesn't make sense. Why would that help the situation? It turns out it's not what animal protein has, it's what it doesn't have, and that is fiber.
So fiber was the issue, which is certainly not standard for most people. You know, as we know, most people are deficient in fiber, and even Bonny said that she was having health issues in her pre-vegan days, like constipation.
I was constantly constipated, like I just never really went to the toilet, and when I did, my bowel movements were not great.
Which is linked to a low-fiber diet. Nearly all Americans consume double the protein they need, but only half of the fiber, which is why laxatives sell so well.
That's right. There's a whole industry around that.
Fiber's good for you. Fiber is really important for, healthy bowel movements and a healthy gut, but there is such thing as too much fiber, and especially when you have a damaged gut or an bacterial imbalance and your body is unable to break down food properly, too much fiber can be a bad thing and it can cause inflammation.
So if she is looking to reduce her fiber intake, it turns out there is actually a surprisingly large number of foods out there that are plant-based that are very low in fiber. And we came across a diet that is generally prescribed to sufferers of gastrointestinal disorders such as Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, colitis, etc. It's called a low residue, aka low fiber diet. Those include tofu, white rice, white pasta, anything made from white flour like pita, naan, wraps, noodles, potatoes without the skin, cantaloupe, watermelon, honeydew melon,
carrots, beets, strained vegetable juices, and fruit juice without the pulp. Throw the pulp away, you're throwing the fiber away. Asparagus tips, mushrooms, pumpkin, creamy peanut butter without the chunks of peanuts in there. Remember, peanut butter that's just peanuts.
Well-cooked vegetables. Apparently cooking vegetables also kills some of the fiber. Kills is not a very scientific word, but you know what I mean. Removes.
There are vegan dairy products that are very low in fiber. There's low-fiber cereals like farina, puffed rice cereals.
I mean, this is a matter of putting various foods into Chronometer and just making a list, like the equivalent of our protein, calcium, iron posters, but like low fiber foods.
Low fiber foods.
And we know that it's not that she can't consume any fiber, because she did say that most of her meals are still very heavily plant-based. Maybe there can be a balance reached if she makes sure that those plants, those fruits, those vegetables she's eating are low in fiber.
There was quite a few different changes in the diet, but one of them included adding in fish and eggs.
So yes, fish and eggs have no fiber. They aren't plants, after all. But my worry is that Bonny might be now trading one set of problems for another, because as we know, eggs, to include eggs in your diet is like, eggs, first of all, a single egg has more cholesterol than a Big Mac, and most people don't eat one egg in a sitting. They eat a few eggs. They're just little saturated fat and cholesterol bombs. And the USDA doesn't even allow eggs to be called healthy, healthful, nutritious,
good for you,
safe. There's a list of words that you cannot call eggs in egg commercials, and egg producers know this, which is why you won't hear any of those words in any of their commercials. So how could eating this product that is not healthy, not safe, not nutritious, how could that help a person? And she herself even said in a previous video that, she recognizes that physiologically we are herbivores.
I 100% believe that everyone can thrive on a plant-based diet. We're all meant to thrive on a plant-based diet. That I can guarantee will never ever change, because I know morally it's what is right.
We are herbivores. We're not designed to eat the ovulation of a chicken. And as for fish, fish are frequently shown to be loaded with mercury. They also contain saturated fat and cholesterol, just like any other meat from a chicken or from a pig or from a cow. And as we know, saturated fat and cholesterol causes heart disease, which is our #1 killer worldwide. If you look up the chronometer values of an egg, for example, you type in 2 eggs, it's normally about what people eat, 2 eggs, you get 11 grams of protein, a lot of saturated fat, and a huge amount of cholesterol. You compare that to tofu, for example. 2 FDA servings gets you to the same caloric value, so it's 140 calories versus 136 calories, pretty similar. You actually get more protein with tofu, 0 cholesterol, less fat, and it's still only 1% fiber. And we get it, for a vegan, avoiding things like raw vegetables, raw fruits, whole grains, nuts and seeds, that's tricky. As a vegan, those are kind of the staples of a vegan diet, but Bonny Rebecca's in a uniquely tricky situation.
Yeah, and sometimes we might need to take certain steps that might be uncomfortable in order to cure certain ailments. I mean, what happens when you injure a part of your body? You have to, sometimes you have to restrict certain activities or keep that part of your body out of water, things like that. But, those things tend to be temporary, as we hope this is also a very temporary stage in Bonny's life.
Temporary inconveniences that will lead you to a place where you can start enjoying the full range of whole plant foods.
I'm obviously hoping that I can overcome these issues and eventually be able to eat these foods again. But right now, this is just what I have to do in order to, fix my health.
Now, we are in no way invalidating these health issues. My father battled Crohn's disease for most of his life. Back when he first got diagnosed, very little was known about how to treat Crohn's disease. All we knew is that certain foods made him feel very ill and other foods did not. I remember he used to have to suck the juice out of an orange because he could not digest the orange rinds. He used to have to peel grapes. He couldn't digest the skin. He also used to drink a lot of fruit juice. And I remember he was also prescribed a lot of exercise, and he used to go for walks every day. That was our thing. We would go for walks after school.
That makes sense because digestion and exercise go hand in hand.
Yeah.
We're not meant to just sit in a chair for 8 hours a day, which is what people do, but we sit in our car on the way to work, then we sit at work, and then we come home and we sit on the couch and then we go to bed. It's not good for you.
I think the reason we feel so sympathetic towards Bonny is because she evidently put a lot of work into trying to figure out these health issues. But that doesn't mean that every single possibility has been exhausted. My father spent over 25 years in conjunction with the medical community in Costa Rica and in New York specifically. Cedars-Sinai had a Crohn's specialist trying to figure out a treatment plan. And believe me, I have firsthand experience with witnessing how debilitating an illness like Crohn's can be. It is so much. He ultimately passed away in 2002 from a bladder infection because his immune system was just too weak to fight it off. Now we are seeing all sorts of treatment options for sufferers of Crohn's that weren't known to us before. My father was also at the disadvantage of not having the reach that someone like Bonny has and various other YouTubers have, where he could have, pretty much put out a distress call to the world to try and help him. So he was really working with a very limited body of knowledge. And the internet had also just been born. We did not have Google back then. And so there wasn't really that culture there is now of trying to read about and research things. But also now, to our detriment, we do have so much information available to us that it can be daunting, especially when you're trying to figure it out yourself. which we know Bonny tried to do for a very long time. Now, what could have caused this downward spiral to begin with? Bonny has occasionally admitted that her pre-vegan diet was not stellar.
Prior to going vegan, my health was not great. I would try and eat healthy, but I would always fail, and then I would feel like a failure, and then I would binge out on food. Anyway, I just had a bad relationship with food. I've talked about this lots in the past.
In a previous video, I remember Bonny Rebecca spoke about her battle with an eating disorder, which, if I recall correctly, included anorexia, binge eating. Eating disorders can have negative health effects. And again, we're not doctors, but could this have possibly played a part in her digestive health early on?
Bonny was also a big proponent of the raw diet early on in her vegan journey, and a raw diet would involve slamming down a lot of fruit and vegetables raw, because raw fruits and vegetables are nutritionally dense, but they are calorically dilute. So you need to eat a lot of raw fruits and vegetables to get your calories in. Well, that also means that you're going to be consuming a lot of fiber and a lot of fructose. Like in this one video, she had 12 mangoes in one day, and that didn't include the other food she had, like grapes and a smoothie and a salad. You're going from animal-based diet, you already have these underlying issues, then you go to a raw diet. It's a pretty extreme switch.
Shift.
I mean, if raw diets are your thing and you're not experiencing any issues with them, then, you know, that's one thing, I guess. But as a species, we have been eating cooked foods for hundreds of thousands of years. And in fact, cooked starches is what helped us become the species that we are today. So we don't really, you know, advise eating all raw.
Sure, incorporate raw foods into your overall, fine. Like, you know, just eat food. Just food. And we followed her on this journey of, like, you know, one day she was like, oh, I'm trying this diet, and the other day she was like, now I'm trying this, and we just thought she was just doing it for fun, I guess. I don't know if that it ever occurred to us that she might be trying different diets because there were problems.
I listened to my doctor and I followed his protocol. Ethically, I feel okay with that decision. I feel okay with the eggs that I'm buying and the fish that I'm sourcing.
As ethical vegans, we have to keep in mind the victims of the animal agriculture industry. That was hard to hear, you know, because as vegan activists, you know, we're outside slaughterhouses 3 times a week. We witness firsthand, you know, these animals on their way to their deaths, unable to take any legal action to protect them or to stop the trucks. And regarding eggs, you know, of course, our minds go to Patty and JB, who we rescued from the slaughterhouse, and the millions of other beautiful birds, individuals that we've borne witness to.
And as for fish, I would say if Bonny Rebecca hasn't yet, please watch Dominion and see if it's okay with you to watch a fish get his or her throat slit, or be cut apart while he or she is still alive, or be dumped into, you know, a vat of ice and left to freeze to death. I mean, fish are not treated well at all. And not to mention all the bycatch that goes into fishing. I mean, they take nets and they just drag them across the ocean and just whatever you catch, you catch.
They don't have time to sift through the shrimp. You know, they catch dolphins or sea turtles. They're victims too. And even if they're farmed fish, that's still a life. Whether
you grew up on a free-range farm or a factory farm, you know, to that individual, their life is precious. Just like our individual lives are precious. It's just so strange to pick arbitrary. It's like, it seems arbitrary, those two products, like chicken ovulations and fish.
Ethically speaking is what she's disconnected with the most.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
On the topic of her, you know, feeling ethically okay with how she sources her eggs and her fish, you know, that's something I feel like we both learned as vegans, which is that meat eaters never eat that meat. They never eat that dairy, those eggs. Yeah, those eggs are horrible. That meat is horrible. I don't eat that meat. Really? Because over 90% of all animal products are factory farmed. So someone's eating factory farmed meat. And we know that Bonny's channel is not particularly an activist channel. You know, she doesn't feature a lot of vigil footage or cubes of truth or footage from inside factory farms. You know, it's more of a lifestyle vlog. Yeah.
What I ate in a day.
Genuinely, I don't know. Has she seen Dominion? Is she
fully connected
ethical vegan?
The reason I'm eating eggs and fish and not like chicken and meat is because I don't feel comfortable eating chicken and meat. Like, I I don't know if I ever will, but right now I don't feel comfortable doing that. So that's why I'm eating fish and eggs.
So what is the difference between a fish and a chicken that justifies eating the fish but not the chicken? I mean, there's certainly no significant nutritional difference.
No, still animal flesh. It's still meat. That's the other thing. She said, I'm eating fish, but I'm not eating chicken or meat.
I think she meant cow flesh, but maybe she just called it meat. Like
it's weird that people have that distinction. You don't eat meat. No, but you eat fish?
Yeah,
like
but it's
fish
still
is meat.
It's
the meat of an animal.
Yeah.
Has saturated fat and cholesterol. It's bad for you.
To us, that just comes off as a little, it's like that speciesist mentality, you know, that we are okay with killing some animals and not others.
I mean, we had speciesist thoughts throughout our entire lives. As human beings, we tend to separate.
We tend to see the differences. Fish look so different from us. It's really hard to relate to them, and we can't hear them scream. That's just not a mechanism we have. They're the most murdered animal on the planet, so much so that we don't count them in numbers, we count them in tons. Imagine if you could hear fish scream, the earth would be overtaken by the sound. We pull them out of the ocean and they can't breathe. That's like throwing us into outer space. Which,
try screaming.
Try screaming. We encourage you to watch Blue Planet 2. Like if you're doubting fish intelligence, please watch Blue Planet 2. It'll blow you away.
Yeah, sea creatures are amazing. They're capable of amazing things. Things that look CGI'd. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is magic. This is from a Harry Potter movie or something. Like, this can't be real. Ocean life, sea life, lake life, river life, you know, all these aquatic creatures, they are amazing, and they feel pain just like a chicken, a cow, or a pig. And we have to keep things into perspective and remember that these animals are only in these horrid conditions because people are paying for it to happen. And then right there at the very end, she also said,
it's important to not be judgmental of people's health choices and be encouraging of them rather than shutting someone down because they're not 100% vegan.
As we've said before on this channel, there really are no percentages of vegan. You know, we hear a lot of non-vegans say that. Like, oh, the vegan community hates you if you're not 100% vegan. It's like, there's no 100%
it's just
vegan.
It's just the definition of the word.
You're either human or you're a chimpanzee. I mean, you're not, well, he's sort of in the middle. It's like, no, you're a human or you're not a human. It's binary.
And, you know, for the people out there who want to say, well, it's her life, let her do, you know, this is what's working for her. Bonny Rebecca has immense power and thus immense responsibility. We can't dismiss that decision as a personal choice. Not when she influences so many people and her diet choices have such a huge impact on the planet because of the number of people she influences.
Your diet choices impact the environment, and your diet choices impact the personal choice of the animal who didn't want to die in the first place, who ended up on your dinner plate. You know, when the animal doesn't have a choice, it's not a personal choice.
To say that one diet is going to work for everyone, it really is naive and it really is not possible.
Even though Bonny Rebecca was honest about her journey and everything about it and her struggle and Tim's struggle is understandable, she is still a voice, a very prominent voice, like 300,000 subscribers, more than 300,000 subscribers, saying that veganism doesn't work for everyone, when this is a very fringe issue.
We know that veganism does reverse heart disease, it reverses diabetes, it lets you eat an adequate amount of calories, you know, and not gain weight. It is the most ethical diet on the planet. It is the most environmentally responsible diet on the planet. It does so many good things. And saying something like that is giving not yet vegans a window. And that window can easily become a doorway. To me, it just creates this slippery slope. And also titling her video, you know, why I'm no longer vegan, it could have been titled, hey guys, I need some help. Or this problem that I'm having, ... you know, and just sort of reach out to the community. That just sort of adds her video to the list of all these why I'm no longer vegan videos that are being put out by many YouTubers who in most cases were never vegan. But of course it is reassuring to know that she's not just another YouTuber who's, you know, no longer vegan just because she doesn't feel like it. Or she wants to go out with her friends and not have to worry about what she eats, or she wants to just go back to eating candy bars.
And we can tell that this entire thing is weighing so heavily on her conscience, and it's been quite the journey trying to figure this out. She's tired, she's dispirited, she's she doesn't feel good about this decision, obviously. So what now moving forward?
You know, a big part of her channel is what I eat in a day videos.
The inclusion of fish and eggs, and the exclusion of gluten, legumes, some nuts, some grains, and some vegetables. I might go into more detail about that in like an upcoming what I eat in a day video if you would like.
If she's going to start making what I eat in a day videos with fish and eggs, I mean, vegans are not going to watch that.
Right. Then her channel becomes about something else.
Yeah.
And that's just something we have to, you know, accept and move on from. To Bonny Rebecca's credit, she does truly feel that she is doing the best that she can. But we still feel that there are other solutions.
Caldwell Esselstyn, Neil Barnard, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Reach out to Dr. Greger. Reach out to Dr. Clapper.
Bonny's reach is huge. Could she have sought out other people who've already had this issue and resolved it with a vegan diet? We hope that this is not the end of her journey and that she continues to keep an open mind. We don't feel like every single option out there has been explored, even though it does feel that way, because that's 5 years. That's a long time. Hopefully we will see a very different Bonny in a few months when she comes back and goes, so guys, I figured it out.
Those are our thoughts on Bonny Rebecca's video. Tell us your thoughts down here in the comments below. We want to know what you think. And as always, if you like this video, please click that thumbs up button down below. That really helps us out. And leave a comment. That also helps. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And make sure you slam that notification bell.
And talk to us on Instagram and Facebook too. And check out our Etsy. We are having a sale until the end of January only because we have some new ideas coming in. So a couple of our designs will be discontinued.
And we want to thank, as always, our patrons on Patreon. You guys really help us out. You allow us to do the things that we do, to go to vigils, to rescue animals, to stand up for animals, to go to Cubes of Truth. You guys support our activism, and if you like what we do and you would like to support our activism, the Patreon link is in the description below. Bye. Gracie, what baby?
Gracie
No,
May.
baby May. We're gonna be filming for a little bit.
Yeah, baby May
love
always
you.
wants to be on camera. At
I love
very
you very much.
precise moment.
I love you.
No, don't do
please
it.
don't jump up.
Don't.
Gracie.
Never mind. Baby May, you want to sit with mommy? Okay. Oh, butt in the camera.
Gracie.
You want to sit with mommy on mommy's lap, not in mommy's food? We're going to begin. Is it okay if I put you down? Oh, I know you want to snuggle with mommy. Mommy will put on my kangaroo suit later, okay? Oh. Look at this. She's like, no. I want kangaroo suit now. Now can I put you down, please? I'm so sorry.
Baby Grace.
This is very hard for mommy to do. Because we have to start and continuity issues might arise. You're gonna pop in and out of the video. Is it okay?
Baby May.
Thank you, baby May. No, she just wanted reassurance.
Like, there's a list of words that you cannot call eggs. Hi, Gracie.